It's going to be really, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's going to blow us out of the water.
There are so many amazing pieces in this year's show.
This year will mark the 25th exhibition of art by Michigan prisoners. It is our largest exhibit ever in the history of the show. We looked at around 2,500 pieces of original artwork at every single correctional facility in the state. We curated in about 830 pieces for the show. It includes, just over 600 artists. So for us, that's a big group of artists to work with, and we feel very privileged for that. That exhibit will run virtually from March 16th until the 31st. Sales will be allowed to occur during that time.
This year, there's a really special thing that we're doing, basically categorizing artwork into like log items or categories. And then that way you can browse through art with a particular theme in mind.
We got a lot of 3D this last year, and certainly all sorts of different drawings, paintings. I have a couple pieces here. This is from an artist at St. Louis who works in miniatures. Everything is made out of cardboard. This particular set has kind of an RV outdoors feel. Certainly gasoline is part of the theme that he's working with. A lot of different vehicles, mostly made out of just white paper. It looks like some decals and things he's cut out of magazines.
This is my first year on this side curating the show. Getting to see all of the pieces in person is a much bigger experience than I thought it was going to be.
Another artist that we work with that I think does an amazing job, he does a thing called quilling. And so if you can see, this is all very small rolled up pieces of strips of paper, but it gives a really beautiful depth, and the contrast in some of his color use is really beautiful.
Art that the incarcerated artists produce for the show, it's such a mixed bag of, I mean, everything from technique to form to structure to content to quality. There are so many different things in the show that you can glean, and there's something for everybody.
This is also another interesting one. It's done by an artist, Dwayne Montney. Figure in the piece is Martin Vargas, who has been in the show almost every year since it started, has now come home and acts as a curator with PCAP, among many other things that Martin does. It's just about the motion of an artist from being incarcerated into the colorful world, which is very true for Martin. He leads a very artistic life.
The art that comes out of prison is so diverse. It's got, paintings, colored pencils, everything down to the sculptures that people make in prison. And there's some fascinating sculptures. I mean, every single time I see the sculptures in prison, I'm blown away because, you gotta remember that these guys aren't using lathes and mills and, equipment that you would have in a commercial setting. They've got toothpicks and Q-tips and cardboard, and they somehow managed to make robots and houses and, starships.
This is painted by an artist, Robert Schoonover, who pretty much works predominantly just in different gel pens. Sometimes when you visit Robert, he'll have purchased different brands of gel pens because of the slight variation in the violet spectrum. The sad thing is Robert passed away of COVID this year. So this is an example of an artist who we had visited with and spent time with for years. Certainly was participating this year. I believe this piece, he was on like death vigil at the Angler Center for hospice, different hospice prisoners who were, getting ready to pass. He was spending time there working with them, and I think the theme of this one comes out of his time and reflection.
It was fun. I had a picture of the helmet, and I just really liked the way the light played against the helmet, and it was really fascinating to me. I needed to paint it, and once I did, I changed a few things on it. Once I did, I'm like, oh well, this came out all right, let me just add some stuff. And I didn't do any background on it at all. I really wasn't planning on turning that into a painting. I just did it because it seemed like fun. I just ended up adding things to this painting until I thought it was complete.
When I see that anybody has overcome tremendous obstacles to make art, that's truly inspiring. And
the community should support PCAP and organizations like PCAP because it is the community. It isn't something separate. These individuals are still citizens of the state and the country. Their families and friends are fully connected to them and vice versa. It's not another side of the community, although it lives perhaps in parallel in some ways. I just think that personally, we need to take care of each other as much as we can.